This is the most viewed series on my channel, and I basically explain all the scratch blocks in 7 minutes. But today, we're going to start a brand new series, and only this time, we're going to explain all the scratch blocks in 6 minutes. Is it even possible? Well, make sure to subscribe to find out, and enjoy the video. Okay, just a couple of things to say before we start. There's going to be 6 videos in this series, and we're going to explain all the scratch blocks in the 5 videos, and then the final video will just be a quick summary of all of them. Today we're going to look at the motion and the look blocks, and also they're going to be very quick explanations. They're not going to be very detailed. Right, okay, let's get started. So we have 6 minutes starting now. So this block basically gets the sprite to move in its direction for a certain number of steps. So as you can see, it's moving 10 steps in the direction it's pointing in. You can always adjust this. So if we move 40 steps, it's going to move obviously more, and then this turns the sprite clockwise. So as you can see, it just rotates, and if we turn it anti-clockwise using this block, and then it just goes the opposite way, and you can always adjust the degrees it turns in. This basically makes the sprite go to a random position on the stage, and this basically makes the sprite go to the mouse pointer, which is this thing currently I'm using, and then this basically makes the sprite go to a certain position, and the X is basically horizontally left to right, and it goes from minus 240 to 240, and Y is basically up and down, and it goes from minus 180 to 180. It's basically like coordinates. So let's say we wanted to go to 0 and then 0. So 0, 0, as you can see, it just teleports there immediately. This glides it to a random position, so it moves, and you can always adjust the duration it glides. In that case, it's going to move slightly slower, and this glides it to a random position or mouse pointer, and this glides it to a certain position. But moving on, we're going to look at direction, and the sprite is currently pointing that way, as you can see. So if we adjust the direction by holding that, we can always move it, and this points towards the mouse pointer. So in this case, it's going to point towards here, and then this changes the X by 10, basically increases the X coordinate by 10, and you can always change that. Even minus 10 works, and then set X to, it actually sets the X coordinate, and then change Y is the same as the X, except this with the if on edge points. So if it's on the edge, like here, then it's simply just going to bounce off, and that block is used in ping pong games. This set rotation style, so if we set the rotation style to left to right, and then we keep rotating it, it can only ever move in 2 directions, as you can see there, and then don't rotate, can't rotate all around, it's just as it was normally. And now we are going to look at these blocks, and this basically is the X position of the sprite, this is the Y position, and this is the direction it's pointing in. Right, that's basically all the motion explained. We're going to do the looks. This basically gets the sprite to say something for a certain amount of time. So it says hello there, but we're going to change it. We're just going to say hi, and it says hi for 2 seconds when I click it in the speech bubble. And this basically gets it to say something forever. It's not really going to stop. This is the same, but it's in a think bubble this time, and this is the exact same as the side block. It just thinks something forever. We're going to look at costumes and backdrops later. I'm skipping over them for now. This is size, and basically this is how big or small the sprite is. Currently the size is at 100%. Let's set it to 80%. As you can see, it's slightly smaller. This changes the size by 10, so it's going to change it by 10%, and now it's back to 100% because I've clicked it twice. And this is the color effect, and there's also different effects. There's ghost effect, brightness. I recommend experimenting with these, but we do not have time in this video. And currently the effects are set to 0. You can set it to a certain value. In this case, we're going to use color, but you can always change it, so it's just going to keep going up. As you can see, just change the different colors. This clear graphic effects, it clears all the effects, so it basically sets them all to 0. Show, you can see the sprite, and hide makes the sprite disappear, used very often. And we're going to look at lures now. So I'm going to create a second sprite, and we're going to create a bear very quickly, and now you can see the bear, but you cannot see the cat. You know the cat is behind the bear. If we use this block, go to front there, now the cat is going to be in front of the bear because it's the front there. If we go to back there, then it's going to go behind, and there are lures for each sprite. So if we have more sprites, you need to go for more lures. So this is what this block is for, and this is basically the size. I forgot to do this earlier, but basically that's the size as a percentage displayed. And moving on, we're going to look at backdrops before costumes actually. So currently there is only one backdrop. This is currently a white background. Create another one. Let's call it desert, and now there's a desert. So basically we're at the first backdrop, and if we use this block, it switches the backdrop to the desert, and we can switch it back to backdrop 1, like so. And this is the next backdrop, so it switches to the next backdrop number. In this case it's the desert. Previous backdrop, in this case it's still the desert, and random is just completely random. I do not know why there's an extra block for the next backdrop. If there's already one here, it's just silly. And moving on, we're gonna look at costumes. Similar idea, but this time it's just a sprite and how it looks, and you can add loads of costumes, but I've done that in a separate video. And if we switch the costume to the next costume, then as you can see it just does that, and costume 1, and there is a next costume block, and this is the costume number, so it's basically the number. In this case it's costume number 1, as you can see there, and there's a costume name, which is basically what it's called. In this case costume 1 and costume 2 is the exact same for backdrops. And I think that's basically all of these blocks explained. I'm just going to explain over here. This is the name of the sprite, you can always change that. This is the X and Y coordinates, this is the direction it's pointing in, this is the size, and this allows you to control if you see the sprite or not. Okay, I think we have done very well. Look, it's about 5 seconds. Okay, there we go. Time is up. I think I've done a good job explaining all the scratch blocks in 6 minutes, and I hope you enjoyed that. So that is all we have time for today, so thanks so much for watching this video of the Scratch coding class. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time, and we'll probably be looking at the sound and the events blocks in 6 minutes. So I'll see you then.